What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're here for the first time, thank you for swinging by. I am Bob Bradford, and we're going live for a little bit tonight. We have lots to talk about. It's been a crazy week in politics, just a crazy week in general. So we're gonna tackle a bunch of different topics here tonight. But before I do that, we have a special friend of the channel who is joining me this evening, and I am going to bring her in, and she's going to tell us all about herself. Oh, let me see here. Make sure I got all my stuff here closed up. Yep, we do. All right. So I'm going to bring her in. She's a friend of the channel. She's awesome. She knows her shit. All right. She knows her shit. So here we go.
Hi.
All right. Here we go. We got Jackie.
Hi.
Hey, Jackie. Thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. I'm not used to actually being on other people's channels. So if I start like taking over, tell me to back off.
Listen, this is the second one for us. Number 2.
Nice.
And we're still trying to get our bearings. We're still trying to get our feet, we're still having our feet wet a little bit, but I appreciate you joining. So tell everyone who's watching. I know we have 6 folks watching us right now. So thank you for all those folks who are checking us out. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from. Tell us about your channel, and yeah, the floor is yours.
Well, hi, I'm Jackie. I'm also known in the World Wide Web as Suburban Mama, and now Mama J. So I started doing this podcasting gig about 2 years ago with 2 of my internet friends. We actually met during COVID in the Discord, and we started a channel called 2 Jacks 1 Scotch. It's the number 2 Jacks and 1 Scotch. We're on Rumble. We go on live every Thursday at 8, and we just talk about different things. We play a lot of games, actually.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and now I basically do lives 4 days a week, 2 days with another podcast with kind of working a little network together, the Business Party Network, where you can find 2 Jacks 1 Scotch, but also the Business Party Podcast, which is live every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Rumble. We actually are doing live on Twitter as well, or X, whatever you want to call it now. And then for those folks who aren't really into politics or anything, I have another channel called Weekend Hangover, where we usually just do it on Rumble and on YouTube. You can find it at Weekend Hangover. And we just talk about trash TV and documentaries.
I love trash TV, like Desperate Housewives, not Desperate Housewives. I mean, that is trash TV.
Oh yeah.
But like
we talk about Real Housewives. We'll talk about like Vanderpump Rules. I'm really into Vanderpump Rules right now. But like we've done things about like documentaries about like Army Hammer or Shiny Happy People about the Duggars and different things like that. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So you all were live last night. I did catch the podcast last night. Great show, by the way. I love the games that you guys play on those podcasts. They're a lot of fun, and it breaks up the whole monotony of talking about politics, and it's nice that you have a little bit of fun doing that.
Yeah, I mean, because for so long now, I guess this past 7 years now, politics has been just ingratiated in everything. It's in everything. You turn around everywhere. And, doing this where, you do podcasts and all you do all day is you research what you're going to talk about. You read articles upon articles. That gets to a point where you just get just so saturated and depressed. As I like to say, you do your ebb and flows of being black-pilled. So doing different things like the games and then having the podcast where we just talk about trash, mindless TV, it really helps kind of refresh us for the week. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you tonight's not going to be fun and games, Jackie.
I know.
But if you do like fun and games, maybe we'll incorporate that in a different forum, in a different way on this channel. But we do have a lot to talk about tonight. So I just want to get right into it. So I don't know, Jackie, I know you've talked about this a little bit on your channel, but we've seen throughout the week, there was this issue with the Gadsden flag in an elementary school. There was a 12-year-old young man who basically was running for vice president of his student body out in Colorado, and he had a Gadsden flag among other flags, other badges and patches.
He
on
had
his
the
book.
Doge dog, the
Yeah,
Dogecoin dog on his backpack.
Yeah. So, well, let's pull up the video. Let me pull up the video here, and we'll take a look at it together. And here, let me pull this up here. I am new to this whole live piece of it, so I'm going to try my best to make sure I have all this stuff in line. So let me present. Oh God. There we go. All right, let me see if I can blow this up.
Do they know what the Gadsden flag is?
This kid's like a total Chad, by the way.
So they're
Poor
the
thing.
reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed is due to its origins with
The Revolutionary
slavery and
See, she's like, they automatically assume it has something to do with slavery, which clearly it doesn't.
Well, what I point out too is like what's really funny is that you can hear it in whoever this lady is, her voice, that she's like a little bit exasperated. Like she's like,
Yeah.
because I'm triggered.
I did, full disclosure, I did watch this video. I probably watched it like 10 times. And the teacher gets owned, completely owned. But here, we'll for those who didn't see it, we'll continue this.
slave trade. That is what was, that is the reasoning behind them not wanting this.
She's an idiot.
The Gadsden flag,
The don't tread on me.
which is the Gadsden flag.
Look at him smiling and smirking. Like he's like, lady, you're about to get owned and you don't even know it yet.
What's going to happen if he doesn't take it off?
He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, like, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I'm like, so I asked if can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class? Like, I just want him to go back to class. The bag can't go back. It's got the patch on it because we can't have that in and around other kids. So that's what I was trying to, and then he said,
Just take the patch off.
Yeah, it has nothing
take the
to
patch
do with
off.
slavery.
We'll just
That's
suppress
like
your
the
rights.
Revolutionary War patch that was
Okay.
displayed when they were fighting the British. Like that wasn't. That's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of like the Confederate Confederate flag.
okay, I
Is
am
there a
just
history
here
teacher
to
that you
enforce.
tell them?
No, I am here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district. And definitely you have every right to not agree with it. I mean,
Yeah, because the
absolutely.
ACLU says that he's allowed to wear that. If you like go on their website, it's like says in big
So
letters.
all I'm saying is that
Unless there's like a ban on patches, period, like if you said there's no patches allowed at the school, you cannot display what you think or anything like that, or what cheer, anything like that. I think it's like one-sided, you know, because you allow some patches, but not other
Other
patches.
kids have patches like other names and like
Watch this.
the American flag and backpacks.
Yeah. That was like flown during the revolution with, yeah, I just don't understand that at all.
so what I can do.
And if you go onto the ACLU's website, yeah, let's talk to
I
someone,
can,
because
I
I
can
don't
have
want a
you
lawsuit,
speak
I
to,
really don't.
I can have you speak to Jeff Yoakum
Okay.
again. And then he can refer you to our person at the district.
Okay.
Because like I said, we're following district policy is what we're doing. So the last thing I want is him out of class.
Yeah, I
Like,
know,
that's
he
all
should,
I-
he
the last
takes
thing I
his
want.
classes seriously, he
Yes.
studies, he wants to get straight A's, he did that. He made honor roll when he was here before, he intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So,
I understand that.
yeah, and I mean, we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs, and I mean, you're going over the revolution for 7th grade. I mean, the founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
Okay, like I said, we're upholding a policy that was provided to us, which we have to uphold.
Okay, can you show me where the policy?
So the video goes on, but this is what I have so far. But the video goes on, and there is no policy
Yeah.
regarding.
Well, what it there was a, I guess the district had said something to the effect of, because the mom had mentioned like ACLU or whatever, and the ACLU said that it's not, that it is okay, but they said that it's quote unquote like a dog whistle
Right.
or what have you. But the district got so much backlash that they just like gave up and were like, all right, forget it. It's fine. You can wear it. So he was able to go back to class and is able
Well, the
to
governor
keep
got
the badge.
involved as well, right? The governor got involved.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so I
I
think the
haven't seen that.
Yeah, so the
But
governor,
I
I
didn't
believe,
read
on
all through
Twitter.
it. So
Yeah, let me pull up. I believe the governor got involved, and he was basically like, "Listen, there's nothing wrong with this." And the kid basically educated the teacher
yeah.
on what the Confederate flag meant.
Yeah.
In the chat, MH says, "I haven't seen this video before. What was he wearing?" So, MH, what he was wearing was, there was a pat. So this kid was running for vice president, I guess, of his student body. And
Mhm.
on his backpack, he had a bunch of patches. And one of the patches was that yellow "Don't Tread on Me" snake. And the teacher or the school tried to have him remove it because they thought that it had something to do with slavery, which
Yeah.
clearly it did not. So this video was taken by the mom. It was like a hidden camera. She videoed the whole conversation with the teacher or the administrator at the school, and basically educated the teacher or the administrator of what it actually meant. And it was clear, obviously, that the administrator or the teacher had wanted no part of what the mom was saying. But and in the end, the kid ended up winning, and he
Yeah.
ended up keeping the patch.
Well,
on
it's interesting because you kind of see this new trend. I mean, it has probably not new, but you can see it more often, especially in like younger people, though, too, talking
Mhm.
about how like the American flag is bad, and that basically saying that people who have an American flag, you can tell that they're the quote unquote racist people,
Right.
and
Like,
equating
since
the
when did
American flag with something like that. There was a story. I'm going to pull it up for you just so people know that I'm not
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I
full
blame I
crapping.
mean, well, let's look at your
Yeah.
look at your page, and then I have a little comment that I want to talk about after that.
So this happened last week, but this article came out a few days ago. It was a Virginia high school student was
Mhm.
told to remove his American flags from his truck
Mhm.
in the school, and then he told them no, and then decided to leave the school and just go to homeschooling
Good
instead.
for him.
Because he was like, if you're gonna tell me no about having an American flag on my car, really?
Well,
So
it's funny. I have a similar story. So years ago, I worked for, I'm not going to say who the auto manufacturer was, but I worked for an auto manufacturer. And at the time, I had my own vehicle, my own personal car. It wasn't a company car. It was my vehicle. My wife and I, we purchased.
mhm.
And on the back of my car, it said, "Lock her up."
Mhm.
Right? I put a sticker on the back of the window and said, "Lock her up." Obviously, it's in reference to Hillary Clinton, which
Right.
we can both agree she should probably be locked up, right?
Yeah.
So
33,000 emails. Like, come on.
right, where are they?
Yeah. Wipe it?
So
Like, you mean with a cloth?
yeah, she's that's a different conversation for a different
Yeah.
day. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There's a Zach Galifianakis. I'm getting sidetracked. I do this all the time.
All right.
There's a
So
Zach,
you have the sticker on your
yeah,
car.
I had the sticker on my car, right? And one of my managers saw this sticker on the back of my car. So, not thinking anything of it, it's my personal car. She can't say anything to me. It's my personal vehicle. She can't tell
Right.
me to remove it or whatnot. So, anyway, time passes. I go out for a promotion. Didn't get the promotion. In the feedback interview, for the reason why I didn't get the promotion, she basically told me that in very few words, it was because of my politics.
Mm.
Right? So basically, she essentially said, remove the sticker or remove it from your vehicle if you want to get
Mhm.
promoted. which at the time I didn't think anything of it. I was young. I was naive. I didn't think too much of it. So I did end up removing it. And obviously things happened after that. I ended up getting promoted and all that stuff. But the fact that, like, you know, we talk about freedom of speech and freedom of expression, it always has consequences. And that's just
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm sorry. So this gentleman, this young boy, he's been making his media rounds. So he was on Charlie Kirk. He was on Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you've seen any of these clips.
No.
But,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. It's for after. After the clip.
Well, I was going to share the clip from the Daily Wire with this young man on Ben Shapiro. So let me pull this up. All right. Let's share it and let's play it.
Well, joining me on the line is Jaden Rodriguez. He's a 12-year-old student at the Vanguard School in Colorado. You saw him go viral on Tuesday because he was removed from class after administrators that said that several patches on his backpack were in violation of the school's dress code policy. That included the Gadsden flag, which apparently they thought had something to do with slavery because they don't know anything. So, Jaden, why don't you just tell me your story? Welcome to the show, first of all. And tell me, like, how did this go down?
Okay, so they were having a problem with my patches. Originally, a teacher complained. They're keeping the identity of that teacher. They're not telling me the identity of it. And she complained to the administration, and they said I had to take it off, or no, I cannot go back to class, which is crazy. And I'm like, why? It's the American symbol. Like, that was crazy. And so I just missed out on a ridiculous amount of class, all because of a Gadsden flag. They said it was associated with slavery. No, it was a warning to the British not to tread on our rights.
I'm sorry, I'm going to pause this. There is a delay here, but it's not on our side. This is actually the video on Daily Wire's end. So for anybody questioning it, a delay, it's on the other side.
So
let's talk. First of all, it seems like you may not need to go to class. You might know more than your teachers. It seems like that might be a real possibility at this point, considering a teacher reported you saying something completely wrong. So we've all seen now the viral video of you and your mom talking to the administration about all this. What was going through your head while you were hearing the administration explain why it was so terrible for you to be wearing a patch with the Gadsden flag on it?
I was trying not to laugh because I don't know what they're talking at all. It's a revolutionary flag. Like, it has nothing to do with slavery. I mean, Christopher Gadsden, I'm sure he owned slaves, but just because he owned slaves, it was meant a warning sign not to tread on our rights in the revolution, which is funny because they tried to tread on my rights and then they found out.
Yo, he just did
what?
Mess around and find out. Yo, I love this kid. And he
should win the election so well, right too. Then.
He speaks so well for a young man.
I know.
We need more kids like him in our society.
Oh yeah.
So you now have the support of people up to and including the governor of Colorado, who has said that this is all idiotic. But how did your friends react to all of this? So I see that you're running for office in school council. Yes. How's that run going? First of all, it must be upsetting that the deep state at your school is apparently out to get you by targeting you. And so how are your friends reacting to all of this?
Well, yesterday they didn't know that it went viral because you're not. But now, like, kids are proposing to put Gadsden flag on their locker. I'm sure to win it by a landslide. My friends said that people were texting her screenshots of that post and like saying, OMG, our school is going viral. 6.8 million views is crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely Mr. Popular at my school.
He's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to win by a landslide at this point.
I love the confidence.
Mr. Popularity.
That is
Mhm.
awesome. So apparently there's a second patch that now they're upset with, right? So it sounds like they backed down off the Gadsden flag patch, but you have a gun rights patch also. And that one, I understand they're saying you still can't wear to school. Is that the
Ooh.
case?
Hold on, can you put that back up? I didn't see what
Oh,
that said.
Yeah, sure. Let me. What if a parochial school student who was required to wear a uniform tried this, or was it only because it was in a public school that you object? What do you think, Jack?
It would have to it would depend on what the school like rules were. Like
Mhm.
if like the school rules were, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I guess since it was just in a public school, because usually with a parochial school, it's a private school, so they pretty much can do whatever they want, really. And with the public school, it's publicly funded. So if it's something that has, I think you're muted. I'm not gonna lie. So I think if especially when it comes to something like this, I don't know. I just think the whole situation is weird.
I mean, I think it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
It depends on who your
What the dress code
administrators
is.
are.
Well, right.
Yeah, I mean, like my son goes to a Christian school, but who's to say that the leaders in his Christian school, where you would think they'd be
Mhm.
against certain, I wouldn't call them ideologies, but you could put them in the same category. I mean, who knows if they believe in one thing, they may promote it to their student body. It really depends. But that's a great
Yeah.
one, Lou.
That's
Lou, that's a
something
good
that
one.
I need to ponder on for a minute, because I go
Yeah,
both ways. Like, well, but then screw the private school because it's still your right,
right,
So,
right.
I think the worst thing that the U.S. government could have done too, and it's kind of going off onto something a little bit different because schools are a little bit different, but is to make a private company or private institution a person. They call it it's like has the same rights as a person because they can do. That's why they can do all that stuff and trample on people's like First Amendment rights and stuff like that. With you see like with Twitter and stuff like that.
So parochial school parents agree to school rules, right?
I believe so.
They do. But I guess I get that's another one that kind of depends, right, Lou?
Yeah,
So
but with a parochial school, even though that parents can agree to school rules, there's also room for debate as time goes on. Just because something is a rule one day doesn't mean that it's going to be a rule the next. If one parent
right,
has an objection to another rule, then they can go into like committee or whatever and bring it to people's attention and have it changed.
true. Then we got MH. I don't think the parochial school would object. It's a tough conversation, but listen, I will tell you, like this young man, he fought for his right to wear the patch. Although now they're going after him for a different patch. But the fact that he won this argument,
Right.
I mean, this is great.
Can I want to get your thoughts on this because I have feelings about situations like this where they have young kids like this gentleman, like like a Nick Sandman, like Kyle Rittenhouse, and a situation happens to them and they're just like thrust into this like limelight, and then all the media people are just like glomming onto them, just trying to have them theirs for the interview, for the likes, clicks, and monetizations,
Yeah.
and then you don't hear from them again. And my personal thing is I don't feel like they should do this to these kids. I think after a while it gets a little gross. Just like let the kid do his thing and like leave him alone.
I can see your point, but I can also see the other side of it, right? I think someone like this young man who is, obviously on Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of conservative families who, you know, they're raising their kids a certain way, and like myself included, you know, I'm a conservative, and obviously there's a lot of things going on in the world today that I don't agree with, but my children are forced to see those things, and they think that those things are acceptable, or if they attempt to try to fight back, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. So
Right.
I think when they see someone like him in the media fighting back, or see someone like this young man fighting back against
Yeah.
free speech or freedom of expression, I think it's good that kids see someone like him. But I can also see the flip side. It's almost like you're prostituting this child to the media, and it can get, you do it so often it can feel kind of gross.
It does, because it gives me a little bit of the Desmond is Amazing vibes and what his parents did to him.
Right.
You know, like throwing him out there like that. It also reminds me of like the Ron White joke where he talks about how he gets a citation for being drunk in public, and he was like, no, I was drunk in the bar, but then they threw me into the public. And I feel kind of like that for this kid. Like, he was private, and then he was just thrust into like this public space where now I'm sure that there's going to be all these people picking at him like they did with Nick Sandman. And I will say, I respect Nick Sandman a lot, because he talked to a few people, but then you don't hear from him at all. He sued the pants off of CNN. No one knows how much he got from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's set for life. He's probably set for life. His kids are probably set for life.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more discernment on all media, all like
that's a valid
right, center everything when it comes to situations like this, because these are private people, and then you're just like, it's like one of those things. It's like it feels like, I don't know, like with how fast the news cycle is, like they can go and like chew this person up, spit them out, and then their life is like wanting to get back to that moment where they had all that attention.
Well, the other thing too, and the more I think about this, is, you know, a young kid like this. Imagine the spectrum that you're getting through the eyes of like the liberal media. They're probably thinking to themselves, all right, well, this kid's parents are teaching this kid, you know, about you know, whatever it may be, but it doesn't align with their agenda.
Right.
Well, so they're probably saying, well,
I'm sure that there's going to be people trying to get. This sounds bad, but people are crazy enough to probably try and get the kids taken away from those parents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, because people are just nuts nowadays.
What you drinking there, Jack?
Mommy's happy juice. It's been a long week.
Listen, it's been a long week. I get it. Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, I don't know if we're going to finish this whole video, but that was a good topic. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had that same feeling. I get the icks sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just to give people a different perspective, I guess.
Good stuff. Let me pop out of this. All right. So, you have anything you want to talk about, Jack, before we move on to the next?
Real quick. Well, I don't know. You know what? No, because it goes into two different things, and it's your show.
Listen, we're totally cool with all this. So if you want to talk about it, you talk about it.
Well, I was going to bring up the article that I sent you actually today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on.
Can you pull that up on your side? You don't need me for that.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay. How's our comment section looking? We got a bunch of people here. It looks like we got 9 people checking us out tonight. So thank you everyone who's been checking us out. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Good stuff. We appreciate your support. Hey, if you're checking us out, can you just hit the like button on whatever platform that you're watching us on? Most of you look like you're watching on YouTube. I know we're live on Rumble as well. I don't see. We got a couple folks in the Rumble chat.
Hey y'all.
But yeah, if you can hit that like button, that would be great. That helps us get helps us get noticed a little bit more on YouTube. So we appreciate your support.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time finding it.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's all good.
Because I sent it to
This is
you,
the-
and then I sent it to the guys that I
This is
work with on the other podcast, and then I just didn't send it to myself.
this is the beauty of
So.
live. This is the beauty of going live.
We'll do it live.
So do it live.
Okay. So I guess I'll just start off with this. So it was last week, I believe. No, it was this week. This Tuesday, X came out. I'm just gonna keep going doing like this. X came out and they had a tweet that said this. It said, supporting people's right to accurate and safe political discourse on X. And I was like, okay. So
Did you?
I was just
want
like,
me to add it
what's
to?
that?
want me
So
to
I
add
was
it
like,
to the
what does
stream?
that mean? And so it says supporting people's right to accurate and safe political discourse on X. So it's kind of like the trust and safety coming back on the platform, especially when it comes to political discourse. Like, so who's to say what is accurate and safe when it comes to political discourse? That type of thing, because we saw during different things how one person would say one thing and they say, no, this is disinformation. And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, just kidding, you're right. After people have been deplatformed and demonetized and stuff. And I just think it's really convenient that it's happening right before election season starts. So it says, we're currently expanding our safety and elections team to focus on combating manipulation, surfacing inauthentic accounts, and closely monitoring the platform for emerging threats. We have rules in place.
What's an emerging threat?
Well, if they're talking about like bots and stuff,
like, can words be threats? Like, if someone doesn't agree with someone's political opinion?
Listen, words are violence. You've known this for years. So, even what you're saying right now, it's violence.
I'm violent.
You are physically
Lock
hurting
me
me
up.
right now.
I'm sorry. You have a Band-Aid?
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of, because I haven't really heard anybody really talking about this much on at all really this week, and I just thought it was really important.
I haven't heard about this, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Flew right underneath the radar, and I was like, okay. So
It's
during elections. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, who was the previous arbiter of truth over at Twitter?
What was her name?
Gotti? That thing was
Vijaya.
Vijaya Gotti?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was who
I almost said something I shouldn't have said.
I know what you're gonna say.
Inappropriate.
Yeah.
Words are violence.
Yeah. Words are violence.
Yeah, this is scary.
Yeah.
This is disturbing.
Yeah, it says the policy will also be aligned with our updated enforcement philosophy. Freedom of speech, not reach. Oh. Freedom of speech, not reach. So basically, you can say whatever you want. You'll just be screaming in the ether, like no one's going to hear you.
You're going to be screaming
in the
to yourself.
Infinite void of the internet. We will add publicly visible labels to posts identified as potentially violating the civic integrity policy. Wow, what is
so basically shadow banning? They're going to shadow ban you. Is basically what it is.
I like to tell a lot of people, like, when you see different things like this, like, the words that are used are so important. Like
freedom
the
of
civic
speech,
integrity policy, civic integrity. So that to me, like, doing some like word noodling is like, oh, so you're talking about like social responsibility to the collective. Make sure that no one's offended. It's our secret. So you need to be, yeah, anyway, that's what I got. I don't know.
Offend.
So
Here, we got one here from Alex Sherry. It's giving the KOSA Censoring the Internet Act, the KOSA Act, they've been pushing.
Well, I brought up this. I need to look into that more. The KOSA?
KOSA, KOSA. I'm going to try to see if I can
I'll
pull it up here while we're live.
do it live.
Do it live. Kids Online Safety Act.
The what?
The Kids Online Safety Act. Didn't you guys cover this in one of your live streams on your podcast?
Yes, we did. Richard Blumenthal is the one that's trying to get it passed. And I think part of it is like when it has to do with like age verification of the people who get on the internet. And then we were talking about like, oh, so what's going to happen? You have to do like a biometrics. You're either going to scan your eyeball or, you know, have to do like your thumbprint before you can even get on the internet. And I don't know if you saw this, was it called WorldCoin? WorldCoin?
Yeah, everyone. Everyone who's still in the stream, if you haven't checked out Jackie's other podcasts, check them out. They're great. Business Party podcast. They talk about a wide variety of different politics and different things that are going on in government. Things that you typically wouldn't hear on mainstream media. So please check her out.
Yeah. So thank you. So it kind of leads into, they can hear me. So the KOSA kind of makes me think of this though too. So there's this company called WorldCoin. They have an iris scanner for ID for people to get onto the internet.
So if they don't like what you're doing on the internet, they can ban you.
Well, so here
they can just deactivate you.
Yeah, WorldCoin's campaign to literally capture eyeballs on the internet is coming up against security concerns. It has security concerns, but having a private organization like WorldCoin possess a global database of human iris scans is a key concern raised by analysts, investors, and researchers who spoke to Forbes, especially since the campaign kicked off in poor communities in the developing world. It isn't yet available to the United States and is facing regulatory reviews in Kenya. So a month ago or so, WorldCoin set up this thing where everyone needed to get their world ID through the eye scan in these poor communities. And I'm getting breathless because I'm getting really excited because I'm like, oh
no,
God,
it's okay. Listen, this.
I can't think of the owner, Sam Altman. If you look up Sam Altman on Twitter, you can find his Twitter page. He had videos and videos of people lining up to get their eyeballs scanned. Well, what's really funny is that Sam Altman is also the CEO of OpenAI, which also does the Chat GPT. Okay. He's also connected to Sam Bankman-Fried with the whole what's it called? The
NFT guy.
Yes. It's the
NFT. I know we know. He's the guy who got arrested. He was the guy who got arrested He basically scammed Ponzi scheme.
Yes. And like nothing's happening to him whatsoever.
Right.
It just kind of like after the big upset, it kind of fell to the wayside, and then the U.S. government's like, oh, by the way, we're not going to charge him. So
SBF crypto.
It was
SBF
it was the
crypto.
Not X. Something had an X in it. FTX.
There you go. FTX. So there's initials. Let me see here. Sam Bankman-Fried, known as SBF, is an American entrepreneur investor. Sam Bankman-Fried, founded CEO of cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Yes. So FTX.
And I apologize for those who are watching. Like, I have a very scattered brain when it comes to things because, like, I connect them like Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny. And I'm like, it's all connected.
Jackie,
And
I would have had anybody else on this live tonight but you because I know what you bring.
thank you. Well, it's just like sometimes I see stuff and like it just at this, it just gets me. And I'm like, the eyeball scanning and it's all connected. You
Yeah,
got the
it's
ladies that are excited that they can put their palm up and like check out at Whole Foods, and she doesn't have a chip. It's just reading her palm. So that's another biometric scanning of all of your stuff.
well, I'll tell you whose wires are not connected, Jackie. Mitch McConnell's.
Oh,
They are just completely out of whack. Completely
they
out of
are.
whack. So Mitch McConnell, who is the Senate Minority Leader in the Senate, I don't know if you all know, but he's been having a crazy amount of health issues. And this week, it's like his brain just froze again. So this happened weeks ago where he was giving a press
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
that when asked
There
the
you go.
question, he froze up. Like his brain stopped working. So this actually happened again.
Your mic keeps going in and out.
Actually, I'm going to pull this up. Can you hear me? You good?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, perfect. Beauty of being live. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So, again, personal opinion, there needs to be some sort of a cognitive test to hold any sort of government office, whether it's president, Senate, any sort of government job. There needs to be some sort of cognitive test. But here we go.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election.
That's
He's broken. He's
Hear
broken.
the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Oh God, it makes me feel so
It's horrible.
uncomfortable.
Well,
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Ugh,
And
I hate
Jack,
it.
this is on the left and the right. Like you got Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Forget about Joe Biden, right? I mean, we see him every single day. Can't keep it together. You have Dianne Feinstein, who can't keep it together, and now you have Mitch McConnell, who can't keep it together. Like,
you forgot about Fetterman.
And Fetterman, that's a whole different. Honestly, I can talk for days about Fetterman. I don't even think he legitimately won the election, but that's my opinion. I'm an election denier, but whatever. I digress. That's a different conversation my camera's all out of whack. I have one of these like Insta 360s, and I have like these little if I make a hand movement like this, it moves the camera.
I was wondering what's going on.
Yeah, so I have to watch my hand movements. But yeah, there needs to be I think there needs to be an age limit, but there also needs to be some sort of cognitive test that's done by numerous doctors, not just the one doctor.
I agree and disagree, and I'll tell you here's why. I think that I am for term limits, absolutely.
Yes.
Because that's how people. If you're going in as a civil servant and you're coming out with like millions and millions upon millions of dollars, like, something shady's going on. And but when it comes, I don't think that there should be a cognitive test, and here's why. Because of HIPAA, one. And two, it's honest, it's undermining the people who voted for that person in there.
But do you think the cognitive test needs to be done prior to running for office?
Well, no, I don't.
And then,
No, because that's what you have the Constitution for, like,
right.
So I don't
But
think, because it's a slippery slope, right? It's a adding anything else into it, like, is a slippery slope.
so they
When
can't.
it
But
comes
let me ask you
to,
this.
okay,
Let me ask you this then. If they can't effectively uphold their office and complete the duties of their role because of some sort of cognitive issue, shouldn't we know about that?
well, that's already protected in the Constitution, though, when it comes to it, forcing people out, doing like recalls and stuff, because it's up to his constituents to do a recall and have him removed. And with the president, it's the 25th Amendment. So there's already those elements in place to get them out. So I don't think we have the guidelines, we have the book, we have the rules.
Right.
We just got to use them. So I don't think adding anything else that's like would be invasive. I mean, to their own personal liberties and their own personal rights. Like, I don't think I don't think they need anything like that.
It's a good
Like,
conversation.
honestly, if you're upset with like Dianne Feinstein, vote her out, recall her. Like, it's like your responsibility as a citizen of their jurisdiction to do it. So you can complain, bitch, and complain all you want. Do something about it. So that's where I'm at.
No, it's a valid point. No, it's definitely a valid point. It's an interesting topic because now we see it across the board, not on just one side, but both sides of the aisle.
Right.
And it's tough watching this because it's clear that these folks cannot complete the function that they were elected to do.
Yeah. Well, and it's also to governors of the states too. I think it is if someone can't perform their duties in like Senate or something like that, the governors have the ability to put in their own replacement. And I think it was in Kentucky, they have a Democrat governor, and I think they have a Republican like assembly or something like that. And they had changed the rules to where that the assembly will form up a list of replacements, and the governor can pick from that list of replacements rather than the governor themselves picking who they want. Like, if you think about the whole Fetterman case when they had John Fetterman go in, part of what people were talking about is that, oh, well, if he goes down, then the governor can pick who he wants to replace him in the Senate. So, yeah.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild times.
Can you put that back up?
Yeah, sure. So this is from Lou Antosh. Fetterman proved political parties can't self-monitor cognitive issues. But who does? What entity?
Well, here's the thing, though. But the political party allowed it to happen. That's the thing. Right. They all knew he had a stroke in May or whatever.
And forced him out. And basically forced him out there.
I mean, they had Connor Lamb. I think, right? They had Connor Lamb or somebody who was running against Fetterman. And they could, and the party itself could have been like, okay, Fetterman, you got to sit down or whatever. We'll push Connor Lamb. But they didn't. They put their money, their backing, their everything behind Fetterman, even though that they knew that they had this issue. And that's where it comes to, you need to talk about, the parties fixing themselves, but also the constituents being more civic minded when it comes to the people that are representing them.
And that's part of the problem too. Most people aren't educated, at least today, aren't really educated on what goes on in their politics. They have like tribal lines. They either vote all Democrat or all Republican, and whoever the parties want as the leading candidate, that's who they're going to put up, and the voters are going to vote for that because, again, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like Fetterman's a great case. Doesn't matter. Fetterman couldn't handle the job. They voted Democrat anyway.
Well, and it's sad because like that's how you get all this corruption in politics is because regular people don't have the time to do the shit that I do every day. Like they don't have the time to like sit down and look at things that are going on like around their towns. They're living their life. They're trying to provide for their families. They're thinking that in that people are being altruistic when it comes to the reasons why that they want to be a civil servant, you know? Like for the community.
Having some technical issues. Sorry, I was
Okay.
having some technical issues there. You can't hear me now. Hold on, let me try this again.
I can hear you.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason, it could be the internet. Who knows? Beauty of being
Yeah.
live, right?
Yeah.
Beauty of being live. Yeah, it's interesting, Jack. I will tell you. I mean, you know, it's hard and it's sad watching these folks, and it's really, like you said, the party's responsibility to move these people on to greener pastures because they need to go. They need
Yeah.
people in there who are actually going to fulfill the duty of the job.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the sad reality is that the reason why they push this a certain person is because they'll provide the party more money. They're basically prized pigs, you know,
Yep.
in a sense. Like they're the ones that are going to bring in the most donor money.
It's
So,
crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. So we will move on to our next topic. Well, we have a couple more left. And how long? We've been on for about a little under an hour. We have a couple topics left. We're going to go into the.
I'm
we're
very
gonna go into the
long-winded. I'm so sorry.
Jackie, I love having you here again. Second live broadcast. I appreciate it. Jackie's been doing this for a long time, so she has much more experience than I doing this live broadcast stuff. So I appreciate your support. So we're going to talk the Trump arrest and mugshot.
Okay.
I talked a little bit about this last week. We did a live last Friday where we did a live. We were watching the whole thing happen live. So we're going to pull it up here, and there's a couple of different articles out there right now, and I'm going to pull one up here from the Washington Compost. And what I mainly want to pull up here is the Fox poll that was recently that recently came out. And let me share this. I'm not going to get into the whole article because, you know, we all know the Washington Post is trash. But support among African Americans, according to this one poll, compared to 2020, you can see Biden had 91% versus 8% to Trump back in 2020. This particular poll is saying that Biden is at 61% and Trump is at 20%. If this is true, and again, it's one poll, we should take it with a grain of salt, but it is telling. If this is true, this would be a landslide.
That changes everything.
Trump. This would be a landslide for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
If true, yeah, it's a definite game changer. I will say that this Washington Post article was a little bit of a joke. It was a funny.
Yeah.
I read it, and my husband was talking to me, and I just start cracking up. He's like, "Why are you laughing at me?" I'm like, "It's not you. It's this article."
Yeah,
like,
article
"Oh,
is
God."
trash. That's why I wouldn't even read the article. It's trash.
So
but for me, the poll was important.
Yeah, well, so how it is interpreted by the Washington Post, I think, is actually very telling. Because he was talking about how Jesse Waters and like Donald Trump Jr., because of Trump's indictment in Georgia and having a mugshot, that they're saying that now African Americans, Black Americans are going to be more sympathetic to Donald Trump, is what Jesse Waters and Trump Jr. were saying. This article was saying how that is racist. to think.
How's it racist? It makes no sense.
Okay, so they said
Racism.
They said in the article. Okay, so Don Jr. had said that it says he claimed that he'd been at an event by Trump, an event the day Trump was booked in Georgia, and multiple Black security guards had approached him and indicated their empathy for his father. Quote, it was like they were going out of their way to let me know that they understood exactly what was going on. End quote, is what Don Jr. said. Now, the article goes on to say, if you stop and think about this argument for more than a moment, though, you realize that there are only a couple of ways in which it makes sense, neither of which is particularly flattering for those making the claims. And I was like,
what is that supposed to mean? I guess they're what? They're not Black enough.
Well,
because they're making those claims.
It goes on to talk about how it's funny that, you know, right wingers are talking about this because they deny a systematic oppression of Black Americans when it comes to the judicial system and law enforcement. And I wrote on here, I was just like, isn't the left's battle cry about like how, you know, Black Americans are treated unfairly by our judicial system?
Right.
And cops and stuff. And I think it's like what's not seen here is that two things can be true at the same time, right? Like knowing that groups and institutions like BLM or Democrats like believe that the judicial system is systematically racist could be one thing, but it also could be that could be one of like their truths. But then also what's true is that the Republicans know that's what they think, and that's the reason why they believe that Trump having all these indictments and the mugshot are the reason why the Black community will embrace it more, because they know how messed up the judicial system is. He's
relatable. Absolutely. So I have this article here now. It's from Business and Politics. Actually, it's the Business and Politics Review. Let me pull it up here. It's a great piece. Let me show you here. And the headline is...
I'm sorry, before you go through it, I just want to say one more thing about the Fox poll, because it's actually really important.
Yeah, go ahead.
So underneath the Fox poll, they're talking about how Black Americans are less likely than white Americans to say that Trump is viewed favorably, but is more likely to do so than Democrats overall. So, but
that's interesting.
Yes. The reasoning why they said the Fox News poll was bupkis was because they said that the poll came out before the Georgia indictment.
Which emboldened Trump even more.
Right. And the reason why I say it's bupkis, and that's why I said that this article is a joke, is because they weren't taking in consideration, one, that he had been indicted 3 other times. 2, that they're at the time that the poll was taken, they were already talking about the upcoming Georgia indictment. 3, the sheriff in Georgia, Fulton County, for the past month has been talking about fingerprinting and taking Trump's mugshot. And 4, the article's trash. That's it.
It's garbage. It's a hot mess. Just throw it in the dumpster, set it on fire. It's garbage.
Yeah. See, I actually had notes on that article. And I'm done. Okay.
It's out of here. So this article right here, this is from BPR, Business and Politics Review. And the headline, you can see, Trump's a brother now. He's a brother. And did Trump's Black support just skyrocket overnight? It appears that the Black support for Donald Trump is skyrocketing in the wake of his surrender in Fulton County, followed by his booking and now infamous mugshot, which is hysterical, by the way. I love the mugshot. It's so funny. Now viral video of Trump's motorcade reportedly rolling through the urban Atlanta showed Black residents lining the streets to cheer him and offering their support, yelling, "Free Trump." So here's a tweet. There's a laundry list of tweets here. We're going to go through a lot of them. Okay. So this is from 1776. Explain it to me. Interesting reaction in Atlanta, Democratic city, people screaming "Free Trump." This will backfire on Democrats.
Yeah, the takeover is a movement worldwide. They finna bring Donald Trump in. Y'all see? Y'all see? Oh, they deep, bro.
We having audio issues again. Can you hear me okay, Jack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just oh. There you go.
Is that you? Okay. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey,
Perfect.
hey,
Let me finish
bro.
this.
Finna bring that boy Trump. Finna bring that boy Trump.
Middle of Atlanta.
Y'all see it, man.
Free Trump. Free Trump.
Which one are you in, though?
Look at that. This is Atlanta, Georgia. This is unreal.
It's just bizarre to me because if you think culturally, like Donald Trump was like a culture sensation for years and years and years. Rappers always talked about like being rich like Donald Trump and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And like people's brains got warped at the second that he like went down the escalator and the media was like,
Yeah,
oh, we gotta stop that.
He's not the most eloquent speaker in the world. He clearly is not someone who you want to give a warm hug to, right? He's, I mean, he has zero couth whatsoever. But at the end of the day, we should really be voting for people who are going to get the job done.
Yeah.
And personally, I prefer someone who's going to get the job done and have, you know, be a little rocky when it comes to public speaking than someone who's going to lie to my face and do absolutely nothing.
It's like, dang, he's an asshole, but at least he gets shit done.
Yeah. So as we continue continue the article here, as Trump turned himself in on Thursday, Blacks for Trump also lined up the street outside of Fulton County Jail. The organization's founder, Maurice Simonet, hopefully that's how you say it, spoke to Rolling Out about the group showing up to jail to support the former president. Why are you here in Atlanta to support Trump? The media outlet asked. I'm here today because Trump is being like what we would call the N-word. Why do you think Trump is being like that? And then because he's a Gentile, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth? How you say that, Jack?
I don't know.
I don't know. Noah had 3 kids. All right, he had 3 kids. Ham is the father of all Africans. He is the one who had the children of Israel in slavery. The name we can't pronounce correctly is the father of all the whites. And then he talks about Genesis and all that fun stuff. Further down, I don't believe half the stuff they're saying about Trump. Dorothy Harp, a black Trump supporter, declared, according to the Atlanta Daily World, why are they always trying to attack the man? It's because he wants to run for president again. They're afraid of him. He's the ultimate disruptor. They're afraid of him.
Yeah.
And they know he can win. They know he can win. A lot of people don't think he can win, but they know he can win.
It should have been apparent that something was up when Chuck Schumer was on, I think, CNN, talking about if you mess with the agencies, they got 6 ways to send Sundays to getting back into. Like that should have been like, we should probably look a little bit more into that.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, why do they have more? Why do they have more power than the president?
Right.
Here's another one.
I'm here to support President Trump. You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them. So I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, 2-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt, Niggas for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
What do you think about the indictment?
Oh, it's a bunch of bullshit.
It's just, I mean, Jack, this goes on. This goes on. Like, there's just so many of them. Like, it's just, it's incredible. And I think that people are starting to wake up.
Yes, you better believe it. Look what happened to Martha Stewart. She caught that felony. She goes to all the cookouts with Snoop Dogg. She is endorsed.
They even got a show together.
It's funny.
Trump is a brother now. I'm sorry. You go to jail in Zone 6 Atlanta, you a brother. Straight up. They fucked up.
They did.
Yeah.
Niggas like niggas that went to jail. They believe in that shit. This is good. We believe in that shit. We trust that. I'm sorry. You can say what you want, but they fuck with people that went to jail. They fucks with people that been in the penitentiary. They fucks with people like that. It is what it is. We'll see.
It's just, Jack, it's nonstop.
So I was watching these Trump videos of him getting arrested in Atlanta, and wow, it's very interesting what's going on. One thing I wanted to point out is that the hood is waking up.
I'm not. That's a 6-minute one. I'm not going to get through it. But this guy, to me, it looks like he was already a Trump supporter before he got indicted. I mean, you can tell. But anyway, you get the point. I mean, it's incredible that, you know, the African American community is starting to wake up to the fact that the Democrats have done nothing for them for decades, for generations. They've done nothing but hold them back. You know, we used to live in New Jersey and Philadelphia area, and you can see, I mean, just based on, I mean, I grew up in the inner city of Philadelphia. I couldn't go to that area today. I mean, it's horrible, and the left doesn't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they rather give 180 billion to Ukraine, but they only give $700 a person to those folks in Maui.
Oh, I was
for the
even seeing
wildfires
today over 2,000 illegal immigrant children in New York City are going to school there, and they're not required to have a vaccination like the other kids are.
Mm-hmm. Well, you bring up a great point. You know, the in Chicago in Hyde Park, there was a school. There was a school that's being used as an immigration housing facility.
There's one in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Listen, these cities are now overwhelmed. These sanctuary cities are now overwhelmed, and I'm glad that Greg Abbott is sending these folks to these sanctuary cities. These people voted for sanctuary cities. They get what they vote for. Like, I don't feel sorry for them one bit. I don't feel sorry for them one bit.
I feel sorry for the people who didn't vote for it.
I mean, they're being forced out. I have a friend of mine who lives in Chicago, who's leaving Chicago because he can't live there anymore. It's unsafe.
Yeah.
You know, he walks out his door, there's cars getting broken into. It's nuts. Yeah. But I think that people are finally starting to get it, that these low income areas, these poorer areas, I think these people are starting to finally realize the Democrats have done nothing for me. Mm-hmm. They've kept me down. They kept you in the gutter. And when Trump was president, these folks had jobs. They were prospering. There was no inflation. I mean, inflation affects poor communities worse than any other community in the country.
Yeah, I heard today that, like, now people who are on, I think it was food stamps, get $90 less now than when they were getting like a few months ago.
And food costs have just gone up.
Yeah.
Have you bought a pound of ham recently?
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
It's
$15?
It's like $13 at Publix.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But you get what you vote for, people. Anything else before we move on, Jack?
Oh, I wanted to go back to something real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We've moved on from the Trusted Safety Patrol 2.0, the Ministry of Truth on Twitter happening again. But I the reason why I brought that up is because there was an article that I sent you today that I had viewed, and I'm pretending like I had already shared it on the screen. Girlfriend. Okay. So this came out yesterday.
Okay.
And it's the U.S. Special Operations Command. They're going to use AI to detect disinformation threats on social media. So
here we go.
It's
here we go.
Yeah. So the U.S. Special Operations Command has contracted New York-based Accurate AI to deploy software that detects real-time disinformation threats on social media. It says synthetic media, including AI generated viral narratives. Juice language is just ridiculous when you really look at it.
And it's Friday. You've had some mommy drink, so it's okay. It's okay.
No. Let's see. Deepfakes and other harmful social media-based applications of AI pose a serious threat to U.S. national security and civil society. Words.
Here we go.
Social media is widely recognized as an unregulated environment where adversaries routinely exploit reasoning, vulnerabilities, and manipulate behavior through intentional spread of disinformation.
So who are the arbiters of the information, Jackie?
The U.S. apparently.
Oh boy.
The U.S. government.
Oh
the Ministry
boy.
of Truth that they were gonna remember the Ministry of Truth that they were trying to set up with that Nina Jankowicz or whatever, and then like
and they ran her ass
like,
out of town.
Oh, they mocked her so bad.
Oh
for
yeah,
her singing.
Whoever they put up for that role needs to be mocked into oblivion.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, not just her. Whoever it was, whoever it will be.
Well, it doesn't need to happen. Like that's like the most dystopian thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
it's like Winston, changing the headlines on newspapers and then throwing it in the incinerator. Like,
yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep, it's crazy.
So the USS OCM is at the tip of the spear in recognizing the critical need to identify and analytically predict social media narratives at an embryonic stage before those narratives evolve and gain traction.
What? So let's say something happens.
So this is basically saying. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. So let's say something occurs.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to predict what the narrative will be, and then silence that potential narrative before it even begins.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that's literally the U.S. government ingratiating itself into private companies, social media companies.
I'm a little disappointed with Elon Musk, to be honest with you, because he had touted X as being the free speech platform compared to Instagram and Facebook. And he literally is he's basically rehashing old Twitter.
Well, when he appointed the new CEO,
who already had a track record, by the way.
Right. And then, I mean, the guy has been talking about Neuralink for a while. So it reminds me. So you've watched Black Mirror, right?
No.
Watch Black Mirror on Netflix.
Black
it's
Mirror.
like 6. Yeah, it's like 6 seasons long. It's very interesting because I started rewatching it, and it's really funny how it goes back and forth before the singularity and after the singularity. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'll check
But
that
yeah,
out. I'll put that on my
yeah,
list of
so-
to-dos.
making
stuff.
wanting to make like humanoid robots and stuff, and like, you know, the transhumanism, and like it's a real thing. That's what Neuralink
Transhumanism.
is. Yeah, it's integrating humans with robots.
Like RoboCop.
Yeah, like, well, that's what like Neuralink is. It's just like you think of, you know, like this art. Well, hold on, my brain's going like 50,000 miles a minute. This is why I don't have coffee after 3. But I did, like an idiot today.
It's all good. Listen, you're
Um,
up. We're having a good time. I appreciate you joining the stream tonight.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, so when it says predict social media narratives, it makes me think of like Minority Report and how they had like,
Oh, yeah. Pre-murder.
You know?
Like, you can
Mhm.
find the murder before they commit the murder. MH, Black Mirror was so disturbing to me. I couldn't watch it more than 3 episodes. What am I walking into, Jack?
There's a lot of different things when it comes to just how the best way that I can describe it is just like a bunch of little stories that happen, and you just watch it, and like there's different things about it that you'll notice, like, you know, people having like almost like a contact thing in their eye, and it's like a computer, and you know, they can go through memories and stuff like that using things. One thing I noticed too is like when you're watching Black Mirror and it's after people had like brain chips and stuff, there isn't a lot of people around, and they all drive electric vehicles. Just keep an eye out on that. And so it's just I can't explain it. It's weird. It is weird, but if you think of it as what our potential future is, it's terrifying.
So Alex says she's watched all of the seasons.
Yeah.
Chrissy McCoog says, I saw 2 episodes. Really weird. Really weirdo.
It is really weird. But like there's one episode where they had autonomous insects, right? So they have apparently all the bees have died, right? All the bees have died off. So then a company makes these bees that are supposed, these like robot bees that go out, they're autonomous, so there's no one that's controlling them, and they go and pollinate different areas. They end up starting to kill people, so that's part of the thing. But what's funny is that those bees, like, there are articles in military journals that they actually have that technology now where they have robot insects. So
that's scary.
And all you have to do, and literally all you have to do is like go on Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or whatever and just type in robot insects, and you can find that there's like patents for it. There's articles about it. Yeah. I was just
And we have
watching it
aliens.
today.
And we have aliens too, Jackie. And the government's confirmed we have aliens. So not only do we have killer bees and killer, what do they call it? Killer hornets.
Oh yeah.
Now we have robotic bees that are going to go out and kill everybody. Murder hornets, they're called, right?
Murder hornets.
Nice. Compliments of China.
Actually, did you see that today the U.S. government had said that they're going to start a new department dedicated to UFOs?
That doesn't surprise me. I feel like we've known as a government for decades that aliens existed.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe they're aliens or they're actually demons.
I mean, they could be demons to us. Depends on who you ask. MH, birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
It's like the Matrix, right? Is anything real?
Well, I'll just say I've never seen a baby pigeon. That's all I'm saying.
That is true. Neither have I, come to think of it. That's interesting. Alex Sherry Social media integrated into law, work, money, and everything. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
true. Oh, it's you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. And the thing is that the argument that people make saying, oh, well, these social media companies are private companies, they can do what they want. Well, actually, if they're getting government funding to do like R&D research for stuff, they're really not
Right.
private
They're essentially
companies
government
because
entities.
they're
It's like a
using our
politician.
money. Yeah.
It's like a
And
politician with a
anytime-
donor.
Yeah. And
It's the same
anytime you
thing.
see like public, you'll see a lot of things going on. Like you'll see public-private partnership. That means that the government and the companies are working together.
Right. That should scare people.
Yes, that's what China does.
Ugh. Well, Jackie, I am going to segue this topic to our final topic of the evening, which hopefully will bring some laughter to our audience. And you and I were talking a little bit offline before we started and jumped on here about one bite pizza. One bite, everyone knows the rules. Everyone knows the rules.
Everyone knows the rules.
For those of you who don't know, Dave Portnoy, who is now the owner of Barstool Sports, does a one bite pizza review. He goes around the country and he reviews pizza. So tonight we figured that, hey, let's watch his most recent review, and which turns out to be one of the best, for me, one of the best reviews that he's done, but may not be the best review for this particular establishment. So, with that being said, let me pull up this. We're going to laugh at this together because I think it is hysterical. Let me pull it up. And Jack, you said you haven't seen this.
No, I haven't.
So, get ready to laugh your back end off because this is great. All right, here we go. First of all, I do want to say one thing. Dragon pizza, like, really? Like, look how it's written. It's written in, like, the Chinese, whatever it is. Like, it's kind of weird to me. It's like when you're trying to mix Chinese with pizza, but it gets even better because the place is owned by a white dude. Because the place is owned by a white dude.
Where is it?
In Somerville, Connecticut, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see. Oh, Mass. Somerville,
yes.
Mass.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, pizza.
Aww.
He is the guy,
What's that
Chrissy.
say? Dragon? Is that what it says? Dragon pizza looked phenomenal in the case. Now, I don't know if we're a little late because I was changing my shirt, so the video would look different. I went to this like vintage Buffalo Exchange across the street. I picked this out, kind of vibing, like, right? $13, great purchase. Like, I would be buying this anyways. It was either that or the old school Canby shirt. So I kind of bought both. I can't make decisions. Anyways, if you're into vintage shit, good shit. Anyways, the pizza looked phenomenal. I don't know how long it was sitting there. It looked, I'm going to be honest, it looked better in the case. It looked.
How does that look to you, Jack? Does that look like a good pizza?
It looks like it's cold.
All right. Looks like it's cold. All right. But it doesn't look good to you.
It looks fine to me.
All right.
More well done in the case than this one.
I was just going to say
so
that.
we'll
I was like,
go.
I like it more well done, but.
Yeah. I mean, I like a nice crispy pie.
Yeah.
Everybody ever knows the rules.
Extremely well
Very
done.
Thin. I don't know if we fucked them, Austin, because this thing's a super floppy. And you said this had 50 reviews in an 8, right? That's on the One Bite app. One Bite app rarely is off. I do smell the Parmesan. See what we got. Oh, it's a floppy mess. Strong Parmesan. Like the Parmesan is come on right through. People, it's the neck of the woods. What's going on there? They're really holding up traffic. People don't want to go. strong Parmesan. This is an acquired taste. Like if you get this, know you're gonna get hit with a left, right in the face with Parmesan. I'm not the biggest Parm guy. Wow. I just don't love Parm. So I'm gonna go. How do you score that? Because if you like Parm, fine. If you don't, I don't. 6-4. I know it's way off.
Dave, right?
Yeah.
What's good, man?
What's going on?
Order a pie, Chrissy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have I been at where? Yeah, I used to live in Davis Square, which we're currently in. Yeah, I spent years here. Dom of the year?
Yeah, I'm an artist.
Okay.
I actually used to work at Dragon Pizza. How do you like it?
Too much Parm.
Yeah.
I feel like you saw me and you were like plotting your move, how you're gonna come up. So what is Dom of the year mean?
Yeah, so Dom, my name is Dom.
Yep.
Man of the year. So it's like Dom of the year every year I get better and better. So
Like a vintage like Dom Perignon? No. Unrelated.
My name, yeah.
Right, but when you're like Dom of the year, every year like a vintage. But no, you're just Dom, and every year it gets better.
This guy is for real though. It's so funny.
Name. But if you want to do that on champagne, that would actually work. Like a vintage.
I make music.
Okay.
I'm a chef as well.
Chef where?
I'm a private chef.
Oh, all right.
I used to work here.
What do you think of this?
It used to be good. You said you just got it out the case.
Well, I thought it had a lot of Parma. Yeah, take a slice. Go. Watch out. It's floppy. See? It's like a little bit. It may have been too long in the box. Yeah, it's not.
Should be crispier.
What does Dom of the Year have on it? It may have been our fault because it may have been sitting for a bit.
I used to make these. So you said 6, right?
I saw it 6-4, which isn't great for me, no.
Yeah,
but again, it may have been, it looked better in the case. It's like that's the boss and all this stuff. Thank you. I
This is where it gets fun.
Dave,
yes.
Enjoy your pizza as any customer, but I don't appreciate what you do coming in and judging a business with one bite.
Well, we do more. Is this your spot?
This is my spot.
Oh.
I hope you enjoy your pizza. But
This guy looks like a douche.
Small businesses.
Well, I help. The good news is I give you
Kind of looks like
that guy.
Ruffalo.
Dom of
Mark
the Year. Can I
Ruffalo.
ask you?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo. He probably
Yeah.
he's
like I'm
super
actually
liberal,
helping
like
so
Mark
many
Ruffalo.
small businesses. This bit now I can say peacefully, this pizza's trash.
I did say I used to work here.
Like,
Dragon pizza's so good.
try it. Try it. Tell me it's good.
I've tried it before. It's good, and they have really good gelato and stuff. I'll try it. I just
Fair.
I'm like one of your biggest fans. I'm not even kidding you. I almost
my
shit when
God.
I tell you.
Honest.
This is
sport.
giving me
Honest
anxiety.
we're literally What do you think?
I thought it was bad. It was too parmy and floppy.
It does parm me.
Yeah.
It is parm me.
Thank God
I'm
I
too
didn't say it
nice.
was good.
I'm too nice.
I actually gave this, no joke. I try to give everybody good scores. I gave this place like maybe the worst score I've given in a long time. And then the owner came out was an asshole. So it actually worked out. I don't like floppy. I don't like parmy.
Has
Yeah.
to be crispy.
Let me be a little clearer. Move on. Don't stand in front of my business.
Let me be clear. Fuck
Let
you.
me be clear.
Fuck
Fuck
you.
Fuck
Fuck you. Fuck you. It's a public street, you motherfucker.
Yeah,
It's
this
a
is my
public
business.
street. This ain't your business.
Yeah, but this is my business. If
Fuck
stay here,
you.
I'll call the
Fuck
fucking
you.
police.
He's right across the street. Go get him. What are you going to tattle me off for standing on a public street?
Just being a fucking
Your,
bitch.
your shirt's 6 sizes too small, fatso.
Just go fuck yourself and the whole fucking platform you're on.
Oh, you don't like the platform.
You're a joke to me, dude.
You know what? You're
Take
making
your
a
fucking
joke.
show and your fucking game and go somewhere else.
Blah, blah, blah.
I-
By the way, I've raised $50 million for small business.
You're all talk, dude.
$50
You're all
million?
talk.
Was that all talk?
Yeah, kind of like that New York Times article.
Here we go. Here we go. Your shirt's 6 sizes too small.
I don't care. I work somewhere. You're a fucking joke.
You work hard?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're like,
My man.
you're so full of shit, dude.
How? Tell me how.
You're a fucking clown.
How?
I run a business. I work hard.
I sold my
provide jobs.
business twice. 100 million, 400 million, bought back for $1. That's a clown?
Everything since I got in this business that you represent is an embarrassment. to
Like
this
what?
business.
Like raising 50 million for small business?
Everything.
Name
Everything.
it. Name it.
Everything.
You
I
haven't
don't
named
play
one
your
thing.
game.
You haven't named one thing.
I make pizza. It's great.
It sucks,
You're
actually.
a fucking joke.
Name one thing. Name one thing, asshole.
I've given up too much of my time.
All you've said is everything, Name one thing.
You're a fucking
Name
joke.
one thing. Clown.
I love $1 million worth of game.
The best. I like how Dom of the Year just slides right back in like this guy ain't great. You work for that clown? Did you know him? He's a piece of shit. This guy's a real fucking piece of shit. I am. I'm minding my own business doing a review.
This is me posting you, telling you.
Oh, you're posting me, buddy. Yeah, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Oh my word.
Yes, let's
Chrissy,
do it.
go on Yelp and Google him. Google their business. Dragon Pizza, Somerville, Mass. It's getting review bombed like crazy.
I
Stand
hate
up.
when
That guy's a
people do
clown.
that.
Chrissy, I mean, Jackie, it is
Nice to meet
hysterical.
you.
Oh my
I wanted
gosh.
to introduce myself. My name is Becca.
Hi, how are you?
First of all, I'm a huge fan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of everything, like from the beginning.
Thank you.
The way you've grown is astronomical.
I appreciate that.
I didn't want to get involved in that. I've personally met a man, his name is Dan from Park Lunch in Newburyport, whose business you saved.
This guy's a
Which is what I actually was just coming over
so
to say.
funny.
Like, your
I
business
appreciate it.
itself is amazing, but what you do for businesses is just incomparable, and I wasn't about to step in the middle of it. I'm representing
I could have used your backup.
I-
He's like,
I
Yeah,
want to-
that's so
I-
true.
how I represent my own
Jake
company
would
right now, I
probably
don't
helped him if he
wanna be
wasn't
thrown in
such
the
a
line.
Totally, he
I don't
would
want
have.
that industry,
That's
but
Yeah.
what you do for businesses is part of it. It's fucking unbelievable.
I appreciate it.
And if that guy didn't seem so rowdy, I would have. That
Rowdy,
it was literally the
rowdy
perfect
in a
time
shirt
to say
too
it.
small.
It was
That was the most
perfect
offensive
fucking
part of the
time to
whole
step in.
thing. Hey, how are you?
Can I get a picture
with you real quick?
I love
Yeah,
it.
also, I wouldn't mind a picture.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my
Good to see you.
goodness.
Welcome, Boston. Somerville. You checked out Bordell ahead?
I did. We did
Okay.
already. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. What?
Oh.
Yep, we did.
That's awesome.
All right. Take care. Nice to meet. Oh, you want a picture?
Yeah, please, if you don't
let's
mind.
do it. Yeah. What a review.
At least it's welcome to Boston. Like, does he not know you?
No, he did know me. He read the New York Times. He's a fucking crazy ass right wing, left wing liberal.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much.
Nice
It's really
meeting
great to meet you.
Whatever. Like it is like when we got them over there in the corner getting the. Yeah. What's the best? Just DM me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Stool Presidente.
Stool Presidente.
Yeah. So
His story
STOOL.
is like really
and then
interesting
Presidente.
about how he got Barstool back
Nice meeting you, man.
from Penn.
Yeah.
Bought it back for $1. What can you? I mean, it's crazy.
Well, because they
So
tried to
hopefully-
cancel him,
Yes.
and then Penn was like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen," and they got a deal with ESPN, and Dave was like, "Buy it back for $1."
Yeah, because Penn didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
The ratings were in the toilet. He just let go. I think it was 100 people, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate for those people, but that's probably part of the reason why Penn didn't turn a profit. You hire people for these unnecessary roles. You blow a lot of money.
Right,
You
and
know?
and also they had to censor themselves. Really,
Yeah,
they couldn't be Barstool.
it's true. So hopefully him back in the fold, he can take it back to its former days, which was excellent.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just felt like everyone could use a laugh. I saw this earlier and I was dying. And I just
Oh
felt
my
like we needed to close out
God.
the show with this. So
Ooh.
anything else
Love
before we sign off, Jackie?
No, that's it. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a great time. Sorry, I got a
Awesome.
little skitsy over there with like everything connecting, but once I start, I can't stop. Like,
Nah,
it's
we
difficult.
love your energy here. And again, where can people find you at?
Yeah, if you want to find me, you can find me on X, also known as Twitter X,
Twitter.
whatever, at Suburban Mama MOMMA 1, and that's the number 1. You can find me on Twitter there. Also, you can find me on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday nights. Usually we start at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Business Party podcast on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, and 2 Jacks 1 Scotch on Rumble. And we can hang over on Rumble and YouTube and Twitter as well. So
Good stuff.
yeah, so many different places. If you find me on one thing, you'll find out where everything else is.
That is true. And your shows are great, by the way. So everyone watching,
Thank you.
please go over it. Please check Jackie out and check out her podcast. She does a great job.
Yeah, I got other
Thank
people
you all
that
for
are there
checking
with
this out.
me, so it's not my craziness by myself.
It's all good. You have a good crew over there. Thank you everyone for checking us out tonight. If you like what you saw tonight, please leave a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show. If you have topics that you want to hear about, you want us to react to, leave them down in the comments section below. Until next time, we will see you on the other side.
Thanks. Bye.